Hi, everyone.
Hello.
Hi, it's 6:30, so we're going to start.
Welcome, everybody, to the live training webinar. We're excited to stretch with you tonight, go a little further into resistance stretching, the fascia. We'll also introduce meridians to you so you become more knowledgeable about your body.
So I'm Sita.
I'm John, and we're the co-founders of Bendable Body. And just a little bit about the background of Bendable Body. We have 30 years experience with resistance stretching between us. And Bendable Body, we started in 2016. And after years of working with athletes and injured people and a wide range of people in all situations, the people who came to us the most were the baby boomers. They were the most open-minded. We've been through it all. We've done all the new exercises that came along over the years, and our bodies are, yearning for something to give us relief, something to restore the body, age the body backwards, as some people say, and we need to address this fascia. So this program is designed for you, and we're going to be with you all along the way. So
Yeah, so we're really excited about tonight. We're actually going to do it a little bit differently than we have the past few years. So I don't think you'll have to bear with us. I think it's going to go fine. So here's what you can expect. I was just telling a few of the people that were here earlier, we will be stretching. So now with Bendable Body, when you stretch, you don't have to go like put on workout clothes or anything, but you do want to be comfortable. We tend to stretch barefoot or in socks, so we don't wear shoes. That's easy to take care of. A yoga mat's always useful. Cushion is always useful. Pillow is always useful. We will provide modifications for everybody. So if you can't get down on the ground, don't worry about that. We are recording this. So if you miss anything or you want to repeat anything, you will be able to do that as well. And so here's what you can expect tonight. Here's what we're going to do. First, we're going to recap videos 1 through 3 in the training, the on-demand videos that you've already had access to. And if you haven't had a chance to watch them, no stress. They're available through the 11th. So you have another 5 days and they aren't very long. Plus, we're going to recap them tonight. So we want to cover fascia. We want to go over resistance stretching. We're going to talk about the pelvis and the hamstrings. And then we're going to add some new content. We're actually going to talk with you guys about the meridian system and the way in which the meridian channels overlap or are associated with our stretches, and you can impact your physiology and your emotional health directly through stretching.
And it's really like knowledge for your body. You're going to know that when the gallbladder needs help or the lungs need help, you're going to know exactly what muscle to stretch. And we should know that. We should all know that already, but we don't. So we're going to learn it.
It's like the human body manual. So we're going to talk about that tonight. That's really the bulk of the new content that we're going to share with you. It tends to be a really popular topic. That's why we wanted to make sure that we covered it. We're also going to introduce some new stretches. So you'll learn a couple new stretches tonight. And we are going to tell you about our membership program. So you will hear about that. Is there anything else we're covering?
Question and answers at the end.
Questions and answers at the end. So probably I would strongly encourage you, unless it's like a technical question or like an emergency question, save your questions for the end. The only reason is because it'll be hard to go back up the chat and find them. So if you can just wait until we've concluded. And, John and I really like to try and keep this to an hour. Sometimes it goes a little bit over, but that's our goal. So that's what's going on, and we're hoping that you really enjoy it. Okay, so let's get started. So fascia. This is super important, and you've had a chance to learn about it already, but let's really get clear on fascia. First of all, what is it? Okay, it's connective tissue. So what is connective tissue? Well, under a microscope, it looks like a 3-dimensional web. Okay, so everybody knows what a spider web looks like. Now make it 3-dimensional. It's made of collagen and seawater, basically. So when it's super healthy, it looks like a water web, actually. But it's not super healthy in most of us, and in many parts of the body, it tends to get less healthy. And when that happens, it mats on itself. It thickens, it gets dry, dehydrated. You can think of like skin, when skin is supple and hydrated versus like the hard skin on the back of your heel. So that would be sort of an analogy. Another analogy that I always like to give, and I gave this in the, we gave this in the video, just to bridge you in quickly so you can visualize it in your body, think of your body as a bowl of soup, like vegetable soup, okay? The muscles, the organs, the tendons, the ligaments, the fat, the bones, everything, the meridians, everything is the vegetables in that bowl of soup. The fascia is the broth. So it's the only tissue in your body that touches every other tissue and actually penetrates into every other tissue. Like it penetrates all the way into your bones. So now why does this matter as far as flexibility and strength go? And I know that at Bendable Body, we're teaching stretching. We believe that what we do is the correct way to stretch, but it involves strength. Flexibility and strength go hand in hand. And John's going to get into that in just a moment. But the reason that the fascia is essential to your flexibility, your mobility, your strength, your posture, your alignment is because of the role it plays in the body. It literally surrounds and penetrates into every muscle fiber. So if you think about that, how can you possibly make a muscle strong or mobile if you don't address this tissue that is totally interfacing with it and surrounding it and penetrating it? Now take it a step further. Remember, I was just describing the fascia has a health spectrum. So now imagine that that fascia has become dense, hard, dry, matted, and thick. It's literally strangulating your muscle. And yet we keep on trying to strength train it, and let's go to the gym and let's, do end range stretching and stretch out our joints as if that's going to change it. It will not. It needs its, as a matter of fact, much of it will make it worse. It needs its own movement. It's its own tissue and it needs its own movement. And that's exactly what resistance stretching is. So now I'm going to hand it over to John, and we're going to get into, let's get really clear on what resistance stretching is.
So we went over the 4 pillars of a stretch, and from video 2, we did those first 2 stretches for the back of the shoulders and the outside of the shoulders. And so the 4 pillars of a stretch, and I just want to go over with you, maybe you can do this. So
You
there's
can
a
stand if you want. If you want to stand, we're going to stretch.
Yeah,
We're going to do some stretching.
yeah, I'll stand back. And so there's a start position. Pillar 1, pillar 2, we add the resistance. Pillar 3, we stretch with the resistance. And pillar 4, we go back to the start. We relax. And so let's do the supraspinatus muscles, top, back of the shoulders, back of the arm. 2 palms, elbows high and wide. Palms, okay, so that's start position. Hands together, elbows wide. This is how we start the stretch. Pillar 2, resistance. Add the resistance. So the resistance is pressing the palms together. And when you resist at the start, you're engaging the muscles that are about to stretch, okay? Pillar 3, keep pillar 2. And pillar 3 is stretch.
Lengthen.
So lengthen. Draw your elbows together. And pillar 4, let it go and go back to the start. Okay, pillar 1 is just the start position. So you got to be comfortable in your start position. Like to bend your knees. And pillar 2, resistance. Pillar 3, lengthen by stretching the muscle with resistance and let it go. Okay, let's do about 4 more. Resist, stretch, let it go. Pillar 1, start position. Pillar 2, resist. Pillar 3, stretch. Pillar 4, let it go.
You have your option to have the camera on, and I'm watching, so I'm going to give feedback if I feel it's important.
Start position, resistance, stretch, lengthen, let it go.
So what happens if you can't start with your hands above your head, John?
No problem. Start where you can. Okay. You just start where you can. So shake that out and just check it out. So that was a short set. Okay. And you do multiple sets when you do your stretching workout.
Is the goal to get your elbows to touch?
No. The goal is to resist, and you start at a very comfortable resistance. Okay. Pillar 1, start position. So if you can't get up here, what do? You start here. That's fine, right? You just start there. Pillar 2, resist. Whatever's comfortable. You don't have to resist maximally, just comfortably. Pillar 3, continue to resist and lengthen that muscle that you're stretching. Pillar 4, let it go. So,
Why does the resistance change the fascia? Why are we even doing any of this?
okay, I'll do an up close here. This is the best analogy I have of the muscle and fascia interacting, okay? So when we make a muscle, right? You contract and make a muscle. Weightlifters make a muscle. You're contracting the muscle. We're doing it too while resistant stretch, but the tissue goes into each other. The muscle fibers, they go into each other and they contract, right? They contract and they shorten and you let it go. You contract and you shorten and you let it go, okay? Traditional stretching, you just lengthen and you pulling at the end range, right? All you do is pull at the end. There's no movement. You're just pulling at the end range. Now, resistant stretching, what we're learning what to do, we contract like in weightlifting, right? But we keep the contraction and we're lengthening, but it doesn't just go a linear movement. It shears off at about 45 degrees or more.
The fascia
The
shears off.
fascia. And that's where scar tissue becomes healthy tissue. Takes a lot of reps. And so what's the goal? You think the goal is the end range. The goal is more and more resistance. The more and more resistance you can create. Now, over time, this will happen. Your repetitions will increase. Your stamina will increase. We were just having this conversation with some members today. When they started out a year ago or 6 months ago, one person was about 2 years ago, they could only do 3 or 4 repetitions at a time. Yeah. Well, no, their capacity, there's a lot of force. And so now the one person, they can do the full set, whatever we do. 12 reps, 20 reps, they're there.
Because see, every time you do one rep, that tissue changes cellularly. And if you pay attention, you're going to notice a change. But the amount of change that you specifically need for your specific issue is going to depend on a lot of circumstances, right? So there's really, the way that I like to describe this is it's a subtractive technology. You know, you go get a facial, dead skin gets subtracted. You go brush your teeth, dirt and plaque get subtracted. That's what's happening in this method. The fascia is literally getting sloughed off, becomes a toxin and has to get flushed out of your body. But what remains is gushier fascia and a more functional muscle, a muscle that's both flexible and strong, more so than it was before. The other thing that happens is your posture just naturally goes back into alignment because, believe it or not, it's the fascia that's holding you out of alignment. It's the fascia that's pushing the head forward and flexing the pelvis and turning the shoulders in. That's what's causing it. It's shaping your entire body. So we want to
let's
stretch more. Let's do more stretches because we want you guys to get
stretch again.
down.
Okay. And also, what I always like to do when I stretch, I still do to this day, I check out how I feel after the stretch. So that stretch opened my chest up a little bit and back of the neck feels a little better.
What specific muscles were we stretching, John?
Supraspinatus, infraspinatus, top, back of the shoulder, and part of the tricep. Okay, so let's do this again. Let's get into our start position wherever we're comfortable. If you lift it a little higher, it gets more intense. You'll have less range, but just press the hands together for pillar 2. Pillar 3, resist. Let's do again about 6 or 8. Let it go. Pillar 4.
What about breathing? What's the right way to breathe?
First of all, you breathe in and out through your nose. That's what it's for. Number 2, you could breathe a cadence that is recommended by all people in all athletic sports. Exhale on the exertion, inhale on the return. So I inhale on the return, and then as I resist, I exhale. I don't do that. I just breathe how my body wants to breathe. And then eventually you do enough, you get into a rhythm, and the body will naturally breathe that way. Okay, all right. Shake it out. More open chest.
Can anybody feel that the chest is opening? If you can feel it,
I
give
mean,
us
you
a
might
thumbs
feel
up.
something
Yes.
else. You might feel something else. I'm just telling you what I'm feeling. There's a lot of
Well,
things
can
to
you
feel.
explain why it is the chest is opening if we're stretching the shoulders?
Right, we're not stretching the stretch, right?
We're not stretching
Stretching
the
the stretch.
chest.
We're stretching the muscles on the back, right? So everyone thinks flexibility is an issue of a muscle not lengthening. That's
False.
half. That's really not what muscles are designed to do. They move us by shortening, right? If we want to reach up and grab something out of the cabinet, this trap shoulder has to contract and shorten. You know, and we have to turn, or we're driving the car and we have to look back. These muscles here have to shorten. And notice after you do that, I think you shorten a little better. So now we just stretch the muscles on the back of the shoulder. Now they can shorten. Chest opens. Okay. Back of the body is tougher than the front of the body in terms of tissue quality. We're going to talk about that in the hamstrings in a moment. So, okay, let's
Got to do large intestine.
Uh,
That's the other stretch that we learned in the training.
Okay, so this is a good stretch because we're doing one side versus the other. So I would like everybody just to do one thing. Just turn your head a little to the right, turn your head a little to the left, check it out, checking in. Now we're going to go to the large intestine, single shoulder stretch. This is more the deltoid. So I'm going to, pillar one is the start. So the target, know the target muscle and the start position. Grab your elbow. It can be out here. It can be here, wherever's comfortable. Okay. Pillar two, resist. Pull your elbow with your hand, but don't let it move. That's pillar two, the resistance. Pillar three, keep pillar two and stretch. And then pillar four, let it go.
So that helping hand should be working hard to move the arm. You want to cut the elbow joint.
Cup the elbow joint and you're pulling your elbow across and then relax on the way back.
Aisha, are you pulling your elbow across or pushing it? Because it looks like you're pushing it. Pull the elbow across. Really show them how you're pulling.
See, I'm grabbing the elbow and I'm pulling and then I let it go.
There you go.
Pull, let it go. And the elbow is about shoulder height, give or take. Let it go. Let's do about 3 or 4 more. Stay with the resistance all the way through the movement. Let it go. Comfortable start, resist, stretch with resistance, let it go.
Great job, you guys. Everybody I can see is doing it right.
Okay, all right, shake it out, shake it out. All right, now just check it out. Feel the feeling in your 2 shoulders. Now turn your head a little and turn your head the other side. This side's the same, and this side, I can look back probably 8 to 10 degrees more. So we stretch these muscles, and that gives us a greater range of motion, but not in the way you think about it. These muscles can now shorten. And that's really the important thing. That's the, you know, we got a little bit of the dense fascia out of the way to the extent that we resisted. Now let's do the other side so we balance ourselves out.
Can you talk about how you know where the resistance is? Because sometimes you can't feel fascia. That's something we didn't bring up. You don't feel it directly. So how do you know where the resistance is? It's always the point of force. Can you talk about that? Like the hand cupping the elbow?
Yeah, everything's happening on this large intestine stretch, the shoulder stretch, between the elbow and the hand. But we're not stretching the elbow. We're stretching the shoulder, right? And so you might, I can feel my hand and my elbow against each other. I can feel I'm a little bit out of breath, but I actually don't feel this so much, except when I get to the end range, I can feel it a little bit. So like Sita said, the fascia, it doesn't have the same sensation as muscles, tendons, ligaments.
So the point is to do it correctly and make sure that you are resisting, because that's what's going to protect you also from overstretching. You want to know the point of force. So the point of force is the hand on the elbow. Do you feel the resistive force there? That's what you need to know. And the speed of the stretch, can you talk about that?
Speed is up to you. The speed will be determined by your resistance, your experience, the more you do. So if you resist a little bit, you know, like, okay, okay. All right. Let's do the left
So
arm.
much to teach.
So much to teach. Grab the elbow. And I want everyone not to resist at all. No resistance. We're just making the movement here. No resistance, nothing pulling, just move it here and then move it back to the start and just move it. I'm not pulling anything, right? Now, go back to the start position and I want you to resist like 10, 20%, very lightly, barely resist at all.
Feels a little different.
It feels a little different, right? There's a little bit of resistance going on. Okay, now go back to the start. I want you to resist 50 to 60%. Yeah, pretty solid. Whoa, that's a whole different ball game. Can you feel that?
Can you feel how you feel less in the shoulder the more you resist? Can
Right.
anybody feel that? The more you resist, the less feeling in the area you're stretching. Who can give me a thumbs up that you
Yeah.
feel that?
Now,
Yeah.
start position and let's do maximally. But, resist with everything you got and stay with it. Okay, that's a lot. You can't do a lot of reps. Okay. Did you notice the speed slowed down considerably and the
Yes.
range was less? Did any
Yeah.
hands up?
Hands up if you noticed. Yes,
Right?
yes, yes.
Okay, so the speed is determined by the amount of resistance. So when we resisted a little bit, we could zip through it pretty good. I'm doing like 20% right now. But if I do maximal, I don't have that speed and I don't have that range.
And so what we tell people when they're like, something, it hurts when I stretch, because it shouldn't. It shouldn't hurt to do it, and it should never create any pain in your body. We know that if that's happening, there's not enough resistance and there's too much range.
Yeah, so when something hurts, what physio or what personal trainer is telling you, okay, you got to go maximal effort here?
None.
Nobody. But when you do resistance stretching and your knee hurts, and you're doing a hamstring stretch, you resist maximally and you shorten the range. Very, very helpful to know.
It's counterintuitive, and it's scary if you have an injury. Because if you have an injury, the tendency is to want to protect yourself. And we're like, nope, the more you resist, the more you're actually protected.
So if anybody's been to a gym and lifted weights, you vary the weights. You start out with 5 pounds, 10 pounds, you go up to 15, you go up to 20, and it's more exertion and it is slower. You can move 5 pounds pretty good. You put 20, 25 pounds on there and it doesn't go as fast. So same thing with resistance stretching. The more force, the less range.
So, okay, we're going to bring it in because we want to stay on target here. Couple of questions. The first is, why do we call that stretch the large intestine? We're going to get to that. You're going to learn why momentarily.
So the first stretch was small intestine. The
mhm.
second one was large intestine.
And then Kathy's saying, should my shoulders be sore? Should they feel relaxed? So John was just kind of explaining that. I didn't see you stretch, Kathy, but our first go-to would be shorten up the range, increase the resistance, because it's very easy to overstretch, because all the stretching we've been doing for our whole life is technically overstretching.
So this is where we relearn, we're open-minded,
Learning.
and we're like, we got a new concept. Because, stretching our whole lives, this muscle group here has been yanking over here.
So I'm going to answer
So we
Clarissa's question quickly, and this is like a general answer. So Clarissa asked, does this exercise help with rotator cuff issues? Okay. The answer is yes. And I'm going to take it further. There is literally not an issue in the body that this exercise does not help with. So
Well, everything that's come
every
up-
issue is that you're thinking, literally, it will help with. Of course, we have stretches that can target things directly, definitely, but it will literally help with everything you have going on. So that's the general answer. Okay, pelvis and hamstrings. Did we miss anything? What's next? Did we miss anything that we wanted to cover?
So pelvis and
Pelvis and hamstrings. This is the third video.
So the third video, and this is the back of the body. We got the 3 hamstrings. Pelvis. A lot of in the Western culture we have a lot of this going on.
What do we call that?
Well, it's a forward tilting pelvis, also known as a flexed pelvis. And for posture, for organ health, for strength, for balance, for movement, we would like simply a level pelvis. When you stand, right? They're a little higher in the back. a little lower in the front, but there's different types. So some are more even, but you want a level pelvis. So what does that do? The organs are all comfortably sitting in the stomach area and in the torso. Every movement we make, so I'm pitched forward. You can't really tell a little bit, but in order for me to have a level pelvis, I have to bend my knees that much. If I bend my knees, can you see that my upper body's level now? My shoulders are over, my shoulders are back. But as soon as I stand up straight, I'm pitched forward. Now, this is much better than it was years ago, and it's getting better because I'm doing a lot of hamstrings recently. But I still have a little more to go. So the bend of my knees tells me I have that much more to go. My pelvis is flexed that much going forward. The hamstrings are the only muscle group, the three muscles in the back of the leg are the only muscle groups that cross over two joints. They attach to the bottom of the pelvis. They don't attach to the thigh here, the leg. They attach to the lower leg. So two central and medial hamstring attach to the lower leg on the inside. The lateral hamstring attaches to the lower leg on the outside. And then they attach here. So they do this movement, right? They do this movement.
They allow your body to make that movement.
Right? And if it's stable, it's moving you back, it's moving you forward. And then because the attachments on the lower leg, they're
Knees.
They're
Who's got knee
turning-
issues?
right? The rotation in the knees. So that also affects the ankles, the feet, the knees, the hips, joint. The health of the hamstrings are going to determine the health of our spine.
Low back.
And then neck, shoulders. Basically, and that's the toughest tissue in the body by design. Semimembranosus, semitendinosus, bicep femoris. They're descriptive of very tough tissue.
It means it has the densest fascia by design.
Yeah.
It's like naturally dense there.
Okay. So we're going to go over, the first one is the medial hamstring, which is the pancreas. I believe we did a hamstring
And where's it
lunge.
located, John? You got to tell people where it is.
Back inside of the leg.
Back inside of the thigh. So you put your hand on the back of the thigh, you come a little bit toward the inside. That's the medial hamstring. It's really good to know where you're stretching.
And so I'm at a 90-degree angle pretty much. You don't have to have your knee over your foot. You can start back a little bit because in the beginning it's hard to shorten that position. Sita will show you a standing version for those who want to do the standing. So I'm going to give you the front version because we're going to create a little bit of width between our legs. Okay. Ideally, your foot's turned in. Don't worry about that. If it doesn't turn in, fine, let it turn out. Arm on the inside of your leg, hand on the floor behind your heel, like your thumb and index finger are kind of wrapped around your heel and we're leaning forward. Okay. Start position, pillar one, we're in the start position. Pillar two, the resistance is the heel pulling back. Doesn't matter if it pulls back toward your knee or straight back, just let it pull back. Pull back. There's the resistance. Pillar three, keep pillar two, and sit back and lengthen. Pillar four, let it go, and then come back to the start.
So let me show the standing version. You're going to step your left foot forward, turn it in a little bit, gentle bend in both knees, no straight legs. Keep that gentle bend. Tuck the tailbone. You're driving the heel of the target leg toward the opposite foot. You're pressing it into the ground and toward the opposite foot. And then you just simply fold forward while you maintain that resistance. Then come on back up to standing. Never lose the bend in the knee throughout the entire stretch.
So both of these are getting the medial hamstring. And we'll do a couple more. I'll give you the side view just so I'm not really going back very far. I got a nice start, pull back, pull back, pull back. And that's about it. And then I'm coming back again. You only go as far in range as you can continue to resist.
I'm going to watch everybody for a moment.
Okay, so check that out. That was a nice set of 6 or 8 or how many you got done. That's fine. We just did one leg. And so what I know, I always like to check it out because what's happening? I can feel that thigh is internally rotating. I feel space on the inside of that leg. I feel space actually in the joint. This is great for hip joint pain, hip joint impingements. What do you notice? The chest is a little more open on that side, I can feel. Foot's a little softer. So whatever you notice, that's your change. If you don't notice anything, that's fine because this is all new. Let's do the other side to balance that out. And again, let's just go through the 4 pillars of a stretch. Pillar 1 is a start position. So take your time getting in the start position, okay? Sita again is going to do the standing. So, and be comfortable, be in a comfortable position, right? Pillar 2, pull the heel back. Pillar 3, keep pulling the heel back while you lengthen and stretch your medial hamstring. Pillar 4, let it go. And just, because you're learning a new technique and you're going to get better and better at it over time.
Yeah, you want to go slow in the beginning, for sure. It's also a really good idea to pause in between reps and make sure that you feel that point of resistance. So in this case, the heel pressing into the ground and back. Make sure you feel that before you lengthen, because it's hard to add it once you've already started to move. Most important part's the resistance. Most important part of stretching and addressing the fascia is the resistance. If you're not resisting, you're not getting anything done and you're putting yourself at risk.
And so the key to the resistance that Sita said is continuous resistance, consistent resistance. So like you could start at 10, 20% resistance, but maintain that through your movement. You could start at 50, 60% resistance, but maintain that through your movement. Because once you grab that tissue, contract the muscle and the fascia is engaged, maintaining that will change the tissue. Okay, cool. Brain, central hamstring.
You got 3, remember? And we're going to tell you why it has to do with the brain. We're getting to that next.
Yeah, we're going to talk about the muscle organ associations here. So this one, we're going to lie on our back. We're going to do a hamstring stretch on our back. Sita will show you a very simple standing version for those. Okay. So grab your pillow, your bolster. All right. So now I'm going to do the left leg. So I'm going to have a comfortable bend in the knee and a gentle flex in the foot. And we're going to interlock our hands, right? Interlock our fingers and put it behind our leg, close to the knee, right? And so you want to press your leg. Okay, so that's pillar 1, the start, right? Pillar 2 is the resistance. So we're stretching the back of the leg that we're holding, central hamstring. So press that leg into your hands. And then pillar 3, continue with pillar 2 and lengthen and stretch that leg. And then pillar 4, relax and go back out.
So it's a short little movement.
It's a short little movement, but you can feel how tough the tissue is on the back of the leg.
So if you want to do this standing, we're going to do it just like we did the medial hamstring. Only difference is you're going to step your foot forward and keep it straight this time. Gentle bend in both knees, tailbone tucked under, drive that heel down and back, maintain the bend in the knees, and fold forward to lengthen. I also can feel my opposite foot presses forward as a counter force. That's a good thing. You can let that happen. You want to keep the feet relaxed because the stretch is happening up here. So we want the tension down low. We want it up high. Pressing that heel down and back and folding to lengthen.
Okay. So
I'm just bending straight down, Cindy.
yeah. So let's switch legs. Let's come out of that. You can move your legs from side to side or just see, I can feel this foot softer. I feel there's a little bit of space in the knee. This one's still a little tight. And then right leg up in the air, comfortable bend in the knee, gentle flex in the foot, because the flex in the foot helps engage the hamstring. Interlock your hands behind, and then you're in your start position, right? That's your start position. Pillar 1. Pillar 2, resistance, right? Driving the leg into your hands. And pillar 3 is stretching and lengthening with resistance. And then pillar 4, let it go. Go back to the start.
So I'm holding on to something for balance for those of you doing this standing. This isn't a balancing act. It's a resistance act. So you want to do everything you can to make it so that you can resist optimally. Hold on to something. It's fine.
And the breathing cue is through your nose, in and out through your nose. Let it go fully. Go back to the start. Resist. Resist and stretch.
We're never holding the stretch in the end range. It's a movement. You let it go and you go back. Everybody's looking good. Looks really good, Christy. I'm watching. Looks good. This one, you have very little sensation because the hands, the arms have to overpower the legs. You're at a disadvantage, but you still can get a result. You still absolutely can get a result.
Okay. Now on that one, I started to get a little cramp in the front of the thigh of the leg I was stretching.
John, what happens if the leg tremors? You want to talk about that?
So that's very common. The first time people stretch, we find tremors, sort of staccato movements. So stay with that.
It'll get smoother.
It'll get smoother over time. It definitely will get smoother over time.
And when it does, you'll know that you're making progress. So you want to do, we have a new lateral hamstring stretch for you that we're going to teach you at the end, but you want to go over the one quickly that was in the training, the leg lift?
Yeah, we use the chair, right?
So we're just going to go over the third stretch that we taught in video 3 so that you really know how to do that. And then we've got a bonus bladder stretch coming up later.
Now, we don't need the chair, but you can use the chair. Again, Sita said, this is not about balance. This is about resistance. So please hold on to something. So now this is the lateral hamstring. This is for the bladder. If you're one who gets up a few times a night to go to the bathroom, start stretching your lateral hamstring and you'll sleep through the night. Okay.
No joke.
So this one, we're cantilevered, right? Our body's parallel to the ground. And then we lift our leg behind us. So the start position, I'm going to stretch the left leg. I have a little bend in the left leg. You would like to get your hip over your foot, not forward of your foot, but over your foot. So you got the chair in front of you. Just hold on to the seat.
You want to try and lower your shoulders down so they're hip height. If that means putting your elbows on the chair or bending your elbows, you want to get your shoulders at the same height as your hips.
So this is pillar 1.
You're going to feel it when you do it.
And pillar 2 on this one, pillar 2 and pillar 3 are simultaneous. So pillar 2 is lifting the right leg straight behind you, and the resistance happens automatically. And bring the leg straight behind you. And then pillar 4, relax, come back to the start. So pillar 1, we're in the start position. Pillar 2 and 3 are the same in this case. They come up,
Good
bring
job,
that
you
leg
guys.
up.
So the question we always get on this, don't open the leg. Who is that that's opening? I think it's, I can't read your name, something in Joe. It's covering. Keep the leg closed. We always get, where am I resisting on this one? Everybody always asks that.
Well, it's
Anybody
the
thinking
weight
that?
of your body and the weight of your leg behind you. And you can feel it's happening here.
It's happening naturally because your leg's holding your body up. So you can't help but resist.
The way I like to do this stretch, you can put a bolster down, or you can put your hand down.
Really good job, everyone. You're doing it. So who are you? You're opening your hip and I can't see your first name. See if I go to this page.
Let's do a couple more. Let's stay with it. Stay with it. Breathing in and out through your nose.
Harry, when you lift that leg, don't open it. You want to keep it square.
You want to keep your hips level. So the leg you're lifting, it's easy to bring the hip way up in the air, but keep it down and okay.
Good job. So
Okay.
So John, did you do both legs?
No, we just did the left. Check it out. Shake it out.
Really check in. Take a minute to check in.
So that side feels a little stronger, like it's supporting the body a little bit more. The foot feels really strong on the floor. This is more open in the front, right? We got a little more extension. That pelvis, we want to sit back and be level. Shoulder feels back.
Can you feel how your foot feels more stable on the ground? Like there's more sensation in the bottom of the foot, less like a pogo stick? Can anybody feel that? That's usually
So
a pretty
anything
good
you
giveaway.
notice, that's your change. That's where your attention goes. So let's do the other leg. So we're going to,
The down leg is being worked.
yeah, the standing leg is the target leg. So the target leg now is going to be my right leg. I change direction so I can face the computer. And, put your arms down on the back of a chair or your hand down on a bolster on the floor. And then just lift.
It is okay, Carol. Ideally, you see how John's shoulders are at the same height as his hips? That's ideal. But if you don't have access to something to allow that to happen, or if you can't do it, start with your legs a little bit, your arms a little bit higher.
So we're all stretching now.
Yep, everybody's stretching. Brenda, when you bring your leg back, you straighten it. It's not bent.
Yeah, you want to, and the reason, we'll try it both ways. Bring it back bent and then bring it back straight. And you'll notice that there's more resistance in the standing leg when you bring it back straight.
Better. Good job.
So we're going to do about 4 or 5 more. Here we go.
I'm liking what I'm seeing. Everybody's going slow. It's good.
Okie dokie. Check it out. Feel a little straighter. Chest is more open. Shoulders are back.
So we're going to give a bonus lateral hamstring stretch after in a little bit. Why? Why did we pick that one, John? Why are we picking a bladder stretch for the lateral hamstring as an extra stretch that we're going to teach these guys
We're gonna
later?
teach 2. Don't we do another one?
Yeah, but that's I want you to explain why the bladder.
Okay, toughest tissue in the body, generally in the population, is the lateral hamstring and the traps and outside of the shoulders. So we want to give you those 2 stretches. They're really important stretches for the immune system.
And
And-
so
yeah.
now what we're going to do, you guys, is talk about this organ association. It's really hard for John and I not to refer to stretches by the organ meridian that they're associated with, because that's what we call them, right? So if you were to stretch with us ongoing, join our membership, whatever, the stretches are literally named by the organ that they're impacting. So why? We're going to go into that right now. Meridian channels. Some of you might not know what those are, which is fine. I'm going to briefly explain it. In traditional Chinese medicine, there's an understanding about meridian channels. What is a meridian channel? It's like an electrical current running through your body. You know how there's electricity in your house and you go switch a switch on, it's tied to a channel, a cord. That's what's going on in your body, only it's not a wire. It's not visible to the eye. It's an energetic channel. Okay. So you go get acupuncture and they put needles along those channels to stimulate the flow of energy. So there's really just one meridian channel throughout the whole body, but it's broken down into sections. Okay. And each section is in a specific area and services a specific organ, like it runs to that organ. And the example that John always likes to give is when you flip the switch on to turn on the kitchen lights, it doesn't turn on the living room lights, it turns on the kitchen lights. Same thing with the meridian
So when
system.
you stretch your chest in a particular way, it's going to improve your lungs. It's not going to improve your stomach. It's not going to improve your bladder. But if you stretch your quads on the front outside of your leg, you're going to improve the health of your stomach, not the health of your pancreas or your liver.
And so the reason is the way that we think of the body and we think about the stretches is there are 16 zones, we're going to call them, okay? Because we're not just focused on muscles at Bendable Body. We're focused on fascia and we're focused on meridians. So each one of those zones has fascial tissue. It has a handful of muscles in it, and it has a predominant or a primary meridian. Okay. And so there's 16 of them, 8 in the upper body, 8 in the lower body. And when you do a stretch for that zone, you impact the muscles, you impact all the fascia in that area, you impact the energy flow in that meridian, you impact the organ that that meridian is servicing, all of the physiology associated with that organ. And in Chinese medicine, there's also emotional and psychological health associated with that specific organ. So it's super, super cool. I'm going to give you one example. There are 16. Okay. And the example I'm going to give is for the immune system. And we're going to teach you a stretch for that afterwards. We're going to add a bladder stretch and a thymus stretch. Okay. So the thymus organ regulates the internal immune system. The meridian channel, fascial muscle zone that services the thymus organ is right here on the back of the shoulders. Okay. It's the upper back, the back of the shoulders, and into the triceps. We call it a thymus stretch. Whenever you do that stretch, it's going to help with neck pain. It's going to help the shoulder girdle. It's going to help remove inflammation from your body, arthritis, increase your immune strength, help you recover from any illness, etc. So we're going to teach you that stretch afterwards, but that's how we're thinking about stretching. Yes, we can help you with any kind of joint pain or injury that you have going on, but we can also help you with organ health. Something I forget?
No, we're right on it. We just went over the hamstrings, went over the meridians, and we're just going to talk just briefly about some misconceptions.
Yeah.
That
because we
people
know
have
that
out
this
there.
is in at least some of your heads out there, and we want to diffuse those.
Number one, that you need a different method for strengthening, another method for stretching, another method to work on your posture, another method for pain. This works on all of that by changing the fascia. Remember the beginning of these videos, the root cause of our pain and our physiology is the fascia. So you do the resistance stretching and it makes your weightlifting and makes your tennis and makes your gardening all better. That strength training removes pain and injury. That's another misconception. It certainly can. It doesn't a lot of the times, but that's not the case because the more you lift weights, especially the guys, and the heavier weights you lift, the more rotate. So that flex pelvis we were just talking about,
You don't need to rush.
that flex pelvis, if you ever see any before and after pictures of a weightlifter, like I'm before, right? Scrawny little decent body. As the muscles get bigger, the arms turn in, the legs turn out, and the pelvis flexes forward. Never seen a before and after picture that doesn't show that. So you're going in the wrong direction. So that's going to cause pain. Used to lift weights. I have friends that stopped. Misconception,
Number 3.
being afraid to exercise because you will make it worse.
You're saying it too fast. How many people out there have that? Who's afraid? I know you're out there. This is going to hurt me further. I'm injured. I can't do it. I can't move. We hear it all the time.
Well, the resistance stretching will get you back in the game. Number 4, that you need to work through the pain to get rid of it. If something hurts, we don't do it. Even in resistance stretching, like Sita said earlier, you resist more and do less range. And then we'll do this on number 5
so this
too.
is the perfect example. Joanne is saying, I have a strained left hip flexor and a very tense sore mid back in the left, which I figure is related. So we wouldn't have you stretch your hip flexor, Joanne.
Stay away from
We would have you stretch your hamstring, and that's going to make your hip flexor better. So perfect example. Thank you for asking that.
Yeah. So the last one was to focus on the pain point directly. We don't. We focus on what we call balancing muscle or a muscle that will help it. The root cause. The root cause, the knee didn't injure itself because the knee was bad. It was a particular hamstring, depending on where the knee hurt, that wasn't functioning, wasn't shortening properly, wasn't working properly. And the root cause is the fascia, and we address that here.
Because see, what happens is most of the injuries show up in the joints, right? And the joints end up overworking because the muscles aren't working. The reason the muscles aren't working is unhealthy fascia. So that's how we are going directly to the root cause here. And we're staying away from the joint where you have the pain. We don't want to go there. We don't want to go there anywhere, anyway, even if you don't have pain. So that's how you get rid of it. You go to the root cause. You don't make it worse. You solve it. Okay.
All right.
Will this help with bloating? Yes, it will. Which meridian? Probably the stomach or one of the
Small
intestine meridians.
intestine.
Yeah.
If you get more specific with when it happens, how long you've had it. and
So we're going to get to
address it.
questions in a minute. Right now, we're going to talk about the membership site. And then we have a thymus stretch and a bladder stretch that we really want to make sure you guys learn. And then we have Q&A.
And
So you
real
got 3
quick
more
on the
things.
thymus stretch,
And we're,
do you know when you get a fever,
out
you
of
catch a
time.
cold and your body temperature starts to go up?
yeah.
With this thymus stretch, you're going to be able to turn your temperature on anytime you want. If you got sniffles coming on, you got to work on something,
Okay, I'm going to share my screen because it's going to be much easier to go through what the membership entails with a shared screen. So bear with me while I get that set up. Okay, let me just hide this so I can see a little bit easier. So we're going to walk you through what our membership program is. So you guys have just participated in a free training. We gave you 3 videos. You've got the ebooks. We had this training tonight. We've got another free class happening on Saturday. It's all free, but we're obviously a business and we obviously sell things, right? And so we have a membership program. It has over, and I'm going to go through what's in it right now. It's open for enrollment starting now. John's going to start putting the link in the chat. You can grab it. He'll put it there multiple times, but we'll also obviously email you about it. So let's go through it. We call it the Bendables, and we want to give you a bird's eye view of what you get inside the membership. And I'm going to keep it quick because I know that nobody likes being sold to. So we'll keep it quick. More than 200 videos that you can watch whenever you want. It's like Netflix. It's not live. They're recorded videos that you can watch as long as you have internet access. Over 200 of them. All right. Stretch flows ranging in time from 10 to 40 minutes. Most of them are around 15. Multiple stretches for each of those 16 muscle groups that we talked about. It's a huge amount of content, and I'm going to try and list all of it. Conservatively, if we were to sell all of this content, conservatively valued at just under $4,000, obviously doesn't cost that much to become a member. The Super Year program, what is that? It's 52 weeks of curated stretch routines that cover the whole body, target all the stiffest fascia, each joint, and we basically tell you what to do from week to week, no matter what your pain point is, no matter what your injury is. And we understand that people have different symptoms, but when you start to factor in fascia, you're going to understand that symptoms might be varied, but the root cause is pretty similar across the board. Okay. Hamstrings are a big deal for everybody. I don't care what you have going on. Okay. And the way that we set the Super Year program up is it's thorough, but repetitive, because like this happens to everybody. Like you miss a week here or there. Well, what do? Do you have to go back and do it? No. You just keep moving forward because we will repeat. The flows. So we call like a stretch routine or a stretch class a flow. Okay. And we configure them in different ways to target different things. So we have a huge flow section on the site, right? With a bunch of videos that are in the range of 15 to 20 minutes, and you can choose whatever it is that you want to focus on. There are different levels. We have a whole section dedicated to standing and seated only. If you can't get on the ground now, you will be able to once you start stretching. The topics range from things like back, hip, knees, neck, TMJ. We have interesting things like facelift, metabolism, etc. We also have, as I mentioned, numerous versions for each of the individual stretches, levels of difficulty, standing, seated, on the ground, etc. Tutorials and ebooks. There's a whole tutorial section because we want to make sure you're doing it right. You can repeat all of the videos from the training that you just took. They're in there, plus more. We also provide ebooks if you're the kind of person that likes to print it out. You have daily access to John and I, and it's no small thing. We absolutely prioritize our members. I mean, you just spent, about 45 minutes with us. You can tell how serious and thorough we are. That's how we are with our members. John checks inside the membership. There's comment area under every video every single day. I check in the Facebook group every single day. So it's like having us as a personal private trainer in your life on a daily basis. That's how we treat the membership. Search index, huge search index with everything you can think of: rotator cuff, prolapse, digestion. I mean, a long, long list. You put the term in the search index, all the videos associated come up. Stretch with Us Live. We have 2 live classes a week that come with the membership. They're short. They're just 15 minutes on Zoom. The recording gets put into the membership. It's just an extra little bonus that we add to the membership. We call it Going After It because you focus on one muscle group just for 15 minutes.
And we have a little question and answer afterwards.
But we keep it short because we also have 3 45-minute classes Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, but it's a separate product. You have to buy it separately from the membership. The reason I'm telling you about it is because all members get 50% off of those 45-minute classes. And the reason that we created them, because they're a lot of our time. It's 45 minutes, 3 times a week, plus Q&A. So they go over an hour. It's for people that want the accountability and they want more live time with us and they want more live community. That's what those classes are for. And the way that we priced it is so that if you were to buy the live classes at the 50% off plus the membership, it's cheaper than buying the live classes full price. So it's like, makes sense for you to do it and be a member if it's something that appeals to you. But we also have recordings of live classes inside the membership if you don't want to do purchase those extra live ones. And you do get the 2 shorter live ones. They just come with your membership. The Facebook group, great community. It's a fabulous community. Everybody's really supportive. And I don't have it listed here because we're just about to start it. We're doing accountability groups. So people, a member suggested this. We're going to put people in groups of 5 that want to, you don't have to do it. And you'll share cell phone numbers and you text one another to keep one another motivated and going. And we have members that have been doing this now for about 5 years and have had some incredible results. I mean, they're really equipped to inspire is what I would say. We keep adding new content. We have special guest speakers. We're about to have a really cool nutritionist on. We're going to have a member on to speak to the other members about something that she's been doing with her stretching. We teach special webinars, like we'll do things on the Meridian channels or on balancing muscle groups or etc. So we do keep on adding content to the membership. Okay, so 2 bonuses I want to talk to you guys about because enrollment's open today and we want to motivate you to take action now. And so we're dangling a carrot, okay? First bonus you get if you join today, everybody gets it no matter which payment plan you choose. It's a Meridian stretch guide. So you've got all 16 muscle groups, all 16 organs. It's all laid out for you in this ebook. You get that if you join today. It's a bonus. You also get a running tutorial. So running's a big deal for people, gets the heart rate up, helps you burn calories, but a lot of people can't keep doing it because their knees hurt, their hip hurts, their ankle hurts, whatever. This is a running tutorial that John teaches. It's a video where he shows you how to do it safely in a way that gets all the muscles in your leg working. Your heart rate goes up. It feels
it's a fun
good.
way to stretch.
It's
to
run.
Yeah.
So you get that bonus too if you join today. Doors are officially open. The price, $45 a month. It's auto renew. You keep paying every month unless you cancel. When you cancel, you stop paying, you stop getting access. You can also join for the year, which is also auto renew. If you join for the year, it's $450 and you get 2 months for free. So you save $90 by joining for the year. Okay, so that's explaining the payment. Let's just go through it. What do you get? Monthly plan, you get everything that's inside the membership, $45 a month. Yearly plan, $450 for the whole year, 12 months, 2 months are free, $90 savings. You get everything that's inside the membership, but we also gift you a 12-pack of those 45-minute Zoom classes I was just talking about, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays. We're going to give it to you. It's valued at about $144, exactly $144. So you get that as a gift with the yearly. And the reason we do that is because you're committing. So we want to put eyes on you. You come to those live classes, we're watching you stretch. We want to make sure that you have got it down. Okay. So that's an extra bonus. Today, both plans get the Meridian stretch guide and the running bonus. So John, have you put it in the chat?
I have.
The link is in the chat to join. We're obviously going to email it to you, but we won't email it to you tomorrow. So grab it if you want to join today and you want those bonuses. Money back guaranteed. So if you're on the fence, you're like, I don't want to commit. I don't want to spend money. I don't know if I'm going to like this. Sign up for the monthly and try it for 30 days. If you tell us within the 30-day window, no exceptions, that you didn't like it and you want your money back, we will return your $45. No questions asked. You just send me an email. The guarantee does not apply to the yearly. The yearly is for people that are like, I'm doing this. The only refund is for the monthly within the first 30 days. And we're sticklers because we want to be fair. Few testimonials, and then we're going to stretch. So this is, really to address this idea that you can't get a workout with stretching. It's just not true, definitely resistance stretching. So this is Tracy Lee. According to my Fitbit, this was an impressive fat burning series of exercises. 44 minutes of the 45 was at fat burning rate.
44 out of 45 minutes for class was a fat burning rate.
Did you hear that? Do we need to repeat it? Okay. Diane, I sweat more than cardio at the gym. Be present in the stretch per John. Yeah, you're not going to hear us saying play music. There's no watching TV while you stretch. We need you to be in your body while you're doing it, and you're going to get phenomenal results. Nancy, biggest calorie burning class yet. My Apple Watch read 190. Usually I get to 130. This is Judy. Can I brag for a minute? Down 30 pounds since the end of the year. A1C down 1.1 points and HDL up 10 points due to your stretching exercises, according to the doctor. Woohoo. Okay. Julie, another Julie. My knees used to be super crunchy. Any crunchy knees out there? Totally gone. Look how she's kneeling. How many of you cannot do that?
I wasn't able to do that when I started.
Also, my vision keeps getting better. No phone flashlight when reading a menu and cellulite disappearing on my legs. I love it. Julie's the one that's coming on the member. She's going to be a guest speaker in probably in August. We'll have her on. She's been doing a full body flow, all 16 muscle groups every day. She's committed to do it for a year. So she's going to tell us what's been going on with that. This is Mary Jane. This is the last one. My body is very different than it was when I started a year ago. I wasn't able to do some of the stretching and the Pilates that I have been doing for a long time. So that was like traditional stretching. I was very depressed about it as I had already had to give up running over 10 years ago. These exercises have made all the difference. Getting rid of the hard fascia was the answer. Even my hands, I was worried that I was going to have to quit knitting and playing the piano, but my hands have gotten stronger and I do the finger exercises pretty much daily. I will start doing the figure eights. That's the running tutorial that you get that bonus as soon as it gets a little warmer here. I'm turning 70 in a few months, and instead of being afraid for the future, I am now looking forward to having a strong, energetic body that will allow me to do the things I love to do. Thank you both again.
We lied. I'll do one more testimonial. We got this last night. Lise has been stretching with us for 2 years now. And she was one of the ones who started, can only do a few repetitions at a time. So her stamina and her capacity was very low. She had a car accident. She injured her back. She had scar tissue in her back. She went to her Chinese medicine doctor for the first time in 2 years. And she just told us this last night. And when he went to put the needles in, he's like, "What are you doing? Your tissue's completely changed." And she goes, "What do you mean?" He goes, "When we put these needles in you 2 years ago, it felt like I was putting needles in plastic. Now it's very soft and it goes in deeper." And that's exactly what we're telling you, that the tissue in our body is getting denser, atrophying, it's being dehydrated, and it's getting tougher. This is a great example of the tissue getting gushier, healthier. She's stronger. She's the one doing 12 and 20 reps with no problem. The other thing she said that her practitioner told her was that the scar tissue in her back that he was dealing with is almost all gone.
Wow. Wow.
Now that is all from her self-stretching, joined us just like some of you are going to join us. And it's really, really inspiring. And it's happening for a lot of people. We'd love to see it happen for you, if not now, soon.
So enrollment's going to be open through Sunday. You don't have to join today. The benefit to joining today is you get the bonuses. We only open it 3 times a year because we don't want to be doing this all year long. We want to be working with our members. And so that's kind of how it works. And now I am going to stop sharing my screen. You have the link to join in the chat. We'll put it in there again if anybody needs it. John's going to show you the stretch for the thymus organ and the bladder organ, and then we're going to take all your questions. Okay. And we're not too bad. 7:33.
So
Not too bad.
Kathy had a question about the pancreas stretch. The medial hamstring stretch wasn't the same stretch in the videos, and wanted to know if it's newer or better, or it's not any better, or it's just about what's comfortable for you. And we have on average between 4 and 8 different stretches for each muscle group in the body. So there's a lot of different ways you can get at it. There's actually even more than that. So don't worry that we didn't do the one in the video. It's equal or better than, and then the one on the ground might be better also. This first stretch is for the lateral hamstring, the bladder. Now, I'm going to show you how I do, and I've been doing my hamstring stretches recently.
You're on the ground, right? So
I'm on the ground. I'm on my right knee and my left leg is forward and turned out. So I have a bend in this knee. Now the chair is just to balance. to be comfortable. So you're not wobbling and trying to keep your balance when you need to be resisting. So I'll give you the front view. You can see my leg is turned out a little bit, right? So that when it's turned out a little bit. Pillar 1, start position. We're in the start position. We're upright. Target muscle, lateral hamstring. Pillar 2, resistance. What do we do for the resistance? I'm pressing the heel down and pulling it toward me. And feel this tighten up. It's engaged. So pillar 2 is a resistance. That's the resistance. Pillar 3, keep pillar 2 and fold forward to stretch the lateral hamstring. Pillar 4, let it go, return to the start. So relax in the start. Resist pillar 2, pull that heel back, keep a little bend in that knee. Pillar 3, keep resisting while you fold forward. Relax on the way back for pillar 4.
So to do this standing, go ahead and step the left foot forward, just like we did for the medial and the central hamstrings before. You want a gentle bend in both knees, only for the lateral, you're just going to turn the foot out a little bit, okay? And then you're going to drive that heel down and back and fold forward to lengthen. John calls it my 3 sons. Medial, central, lateral. Everything's the same. Most important part, gentle bend in the knee. Second most important part, driving the heel down to resist, and then fold forward to lengthen while you maintain that resistance.
Resist, resist. Now, if you're watching, you see my mat's buckling. I'm pulling back. Let it go. So in this stretch, the knee stays fixed, but you can bend it as much as you want or as little as you want. So you can bend it more and go through the stretch. You can bend it less, but you need a bend. You need a bend because you don't want the stretch going into the back of the legs, right? So the bladder improves the health of your bones. And of course, it improves the health of your bladder. And it also it's associated with a part of the immune system that goes after aberrant cells. So all the red blood cells that are not in the right shape, not in the right position, they're all coagulated together. You know, they create these things that everyone's afraid of, right? So they're leukocytes and they go after all cancer cells. So you want to stretch your bladder, keep that part of you healthy. Resist, 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 continuously let it go. So let's do a few more. This is a good one to do, either standing or kneeling. And then like Sita said, my 3 sons, so that was the bladder. Leg turned out. If the leg's straight ahead, that's brain, that's central hamstring, same position. Then if the leg's turned in, that's the medial hamstring. Okay, great. So that's a new bladder stretch and the bonus brain and pancreas. You can check that out. The leg feels better rotated in the hip joint, feels taller there, really feel extended in the pelvis on that side. So these are the changes that happen to your body, and it's cumulative over time. They will just get better and better and better. Okay. Let's do about 8 reps on the other leg. Let's do about 8 reps of the lateral hamstring on the other leg. So the leg's turned out a little bit. You have a bend in the knee. Then for pillar 2, you resist. You pull that heel back. Pull that heel back. And pillar 3, you stretch with resistance. Relax on the way back. Pillar 4, go back to the start. Just stay with that resistance at whatever level you're comfortable with. You don't have to do it maximally. Actually, you can't do it maximally every repetition. But you want to do it fully, whether it's 10, 20, 30%, 50, 60, 70%. Stay with it. You know, just don't let the resistance wane through the stretch. You want to maintain that resistance. That's the key. And the more and more you stretch, the more your awareness will go to different parts of your body. And then you'll be making all these little minor adjustments and getting an even better stretch. So let's do a few more. We're working the lateral hamstring. We're stretching the bladder muscle group, improving the health of our bladder, improving the health of the bones. And this is a great stretch for back pain. One of the main muscle groups that when it doesn't work causes back pain. Okay, dokie. All right. All right. So now we're going to do the thymus stretch to turn our immune systems on and take tension out of our neck and shoulders. So our thymus gland is right about here where my hand is, right? Just,
And this can be done at a table.
yeah,
the
this
way
can be
John's gonna
done on
do
a
it.
table. We're going to do it on the mat. So it's an arm dominant stretch. The thymus muscle group and meridian runs on the back of the arm, up the side, into the neck. Now, our two arms are going to be on the mat. Our two arms are going to be on the mat with our palms up. Okay? And we want to tuck our toes under, right? We want to tuck our toes under, and we want to sit back to begin. So this is our start position. Your toes are tucked under, your forearms, they don't have to be parallel to each other, but they want to be, you know, about shoulder width, palms up, sitting back. Pillar one. Pillar two, the resistance. Where do we resist? We press our arms down and forward, right? We press our arms down and forward. Pillar three, continue to press the arms down and forward and move forward for the stretch. Pillar four, let it go and come on back. So drive those arms forward, down into the mat, resist continuously as you move forward.
Good
Mm.
job. You want a neutral back for this.
Yeah. And you want to keep those ribs, you know, level to the ground. Don't let the ribs protrude out of your body. Keep them up in your body. Breathing in and out through your nose, drive those arms forward, drive those arms forward. Then let it go and come on back. Now, some of you may feel your body heating up already. Resist, resist, resist. This is a great stretch for the triceps, the shoulders, and up into the traps.
And again,
Let
you can
it
be
go.
doing this at a table if you can't get down on the ground.
Let's do about 3 more. Stay with the resistance as you move forward. Relax on the way back. Breathing in and out through your nose. Okay. Thymus gland heated up, the body's warmer. Neck's looser. So that's the stretch that you do to turn on your immune system, raise your body temperature,
Honestly, if
and it's
you
great for inflammation throughout the whole body.
like, if you're like, I'm not going to do this, I just want to remember something on my own. Those two stretches,
Those two
thymus and
stretches.
bladder, learn
Bladder.
those. Those are so good and so important. Okay, you guys, we're going to take questions. I've been answering some as they've come up. I think I've covered everybody, but we'll now start doing this. So Carol, this looks pretty dangerous for anyone with osteoporosis. I'm going to let John answer that.
Osteoporosis. So we've worked with many people with osteopenia, osteoporosis, and the bladder stretch in particular increases bone density. It improves the health of the bones
But why are your bones safe when you're resisting?
because the fascia, when you resist, it suspends the joints, and then the fascia protects the joints. So you're protected from overstretching, you're protected from injuring yourself. So long as you resist, you
Yeah, the
have
key
to
is the
resist.
resistance.
People have reported back to us that their bone density has gone up. People in their 70s and 80s.
Not dangerous, but you got to resist. You
Yeah.
got to learn to resist. And again, it's counterintuitive because whenever you're scared about something, oh, it's going to make it worse. The tendency is to resist less.
Okay, hold on now, real
But
quick.
Don't do that.
What do they say? What's the main thing for osteopenia, weight-bearing exercises? Don't they say weight-bearing exercises? Well, did you lose like 50, 60 pounds as you got older and like your body doesn't bear as much weight? Why are the bones not bearing as much weight? You think about that. What? the fascia is getting denser and bearing the weight of your body. So the bones
They can't get the
they
weight.
can't get the weight on them. So as you change the fascia, and that, when we did the lateral hamstring, we stood up and the foot was more firmly on the ground, the more weight was coming down through it. Your body's bearing the weight now. The bones are starting to bear the weight.
It's actually very simple. The purpose of bendable body and resistance stretching is to get muscles working better. So we think that that's the purpose of weight training. Oh, it gets my muscles stronger. It actually doesn't. Resistance stretching gets muscles making all the movements they're supposed to make, shortening, lengthening, and rotating. And that's what you need to happen to move your body around, right? So you get your muscles working better so they can do the job and take the pressure off the joints, take the pressure off the spine, which is overworking and getting injured because the muscles no longer work because of an accumulation of fascia. Okay. So that's really what flexibility training is and what it is that we're doing here. Let's see what's next. I joined. Woohoo. I love it, Lori. We can't wait to meet you.
I do
The
want to
link
clarify,
to the member Facebook page is going to go out in a welcome email. It's the bendables though. You can Google it as well.
weightlifters, they lift more weight over time, but at the expense of the rotation of their arms, legs, pelvis, and so on and so forth. So ultimately, they're just creating injury in the body. No one ever weightlifts their way to a professional sport.
Okay, Angel, I have digestive issues since gallbladder removal. Will this help? Absolutely. We have a gallbladder stretch. It will absolutely help. And we also have small intestine, large intestine, stomach, pancreas stretch. All the digestive organs are covered. Leslie, what are the best stretches for the outside of your knees with bone-on-bone pain and arthritis?
So you want to stretch the central hamstring, that brain muscle group, the center back of your leg, and the lateral hamstring, but particularly the central hamstring. That has the most impact on the rotation. And what it'll do, it won't grow cartilage back. It'll create space in the joint, so it'll be less painful.
And if your knee, so this does come up sometimes, it's like, well, I need to do a stretch to help my knee, but I can't kneel. So there would be stretches you would want to do ahead of time, like lying on your back or possibly standing or seated until the knee starts feeling better and you can kneel. Okay. Are there stretches for thyroid health? Absolutely. We would tell you to focus probably on the endocrine system, which is the hip flexors, sexual meridian.
You can do the thymus too for general health like that.
So MCL or meniscus, you want to go into that? That's also going to be brain.
And front inside of leg, medial collateral ligament. You want to stretch the lateral hamstring bladder in particular. But
Back
since it's the knee,
outside.
back outside. But since it's the knee, the central hamstring will also help.
So we're always going to direct you away from the area that hurts. I can't stress that enough. And we're not just being careful. It's not why we're doing it.
It is the source of
It's the source. It's going to solve it. Okay. Let's see. I'm guessing there are stretches for plantar fasciitis. Oh yeah. And actually, I also want to point out, we have an incredible blog and we cover a lot of this stuff in our blog. So that's a great resource, even if you don't decide to join the membership. Absolutely. Medial hamstring will help so much with plantar fasciitis. Pancreas meridian. You learn that in the training. What else? We got any more questions? This is a quiet group. Usually it's like, I can't even keep up with the questions. I know some of you guys have questions. Who's got a question for me?
Everybody's got it down.
Everybody's got it down. Yeah, this was a thorough training. So, okay. Any help for bunion and hammer toes?
Hammer toes we associate with the quads, the stomach. Bunion, if it's on the outside of the foot, which is not as common, that would be the quads and the medial hamstring. If the bunion's on the inside of the foot near the big toe, you want to do the lateral hamstring.
So Joanna is still not clear which hamstring for the hip flexor. So if you have pain in the front of your hip and the hip flexor, you would go to the central hamstring, the brain meridian. That's what you would do for that. Anyone else got anything? Any questions about the membership? Any questions about that? Or anything that we offer on a regular basis. In addition to the membership, like I said, we have our live Zoom classes. It's just such a great deal if you want to do those to be a member. Let's see, Leslie, I crochet a lot and have gained pain in my right thumb. What to do for that?
Well, the thumb, the part of the lung, the lung meridian goes into the thumb and there's a lung stretch for the chest.
But we also
Um,
have some hand stretches
We
that would
have
help.
direct hand stretches that will help
Yeah.
also.
Let's see, how to improve sciatica in the buttocks. So yeah, the sciatic nerve is going to be most improved by hip flexor stretches. So sexual meridian, front of the hip. It's going to help that a lot.
Yeah, and so the balancing for the front is the back. So the hip flexors in the center front of the leg and the central hamstrings in the center back of the
And
leg.
and we think in terms of a
The-
fascial meridian chain. So it goes up the butt.
So the muscle that's pressing on the sciatic nerve is the psoas major associated with the hip flexor. So you want to do that. But because of the disparity between the front and back of the body, the hip flexor is tense because the back of the leg is dense. So you want to change the back of the leg. And you also want to do hip flexor stretches. But so there you go.
So again, you don't have to become an expert in all of this. If you're inside the membership, literally all you have to do is put sciatica in the search. and
Or
everything
send
you
us a
need to
message,
do.
ask us
Or
a
you can send us a
question.
message.
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly. Okay. Curious what the facelift exercises are about. Yeah. So there are meridians that go into the face. And so when you do the stretches associated with those meridians, it tightens up the face, it lifts the cheekbones, it gets rid of crow's feet. We have a facelift flow in there. It's incredible. Let's see. What's involved in the training once the membership starts? So it's very much so like you navigate. Well, we email you every week, right? So that you know where you are in the super year program, if that's something that you're doing. But it's the kind of thing where you have to be self-motivated and get in there and do the stretches. But we do have this curated weekly thing that we're telling you to do in the super year program, but some people don't do it. Some people just go in and they go to the stretch flows page and pick what they want to do that day. It's very, very intuitive and clearly laid out. So that's kind of how it works. And then the live events we email you about, so that you can do those. But, we give you direction. You just might not need it. You
Yeah,
might want to do your own thing.
The cool thing about the super year program, it's curated, it's complete, thorough, every single module. So it's not like, we only, because every day and every module, you're doing upper and lower body, but there's always a target. Upper and lower body,
And you're targeting.
and
then
you're
there's-
also targeting. So
we make you spend 3 months out of the year on hamstrings.
interspersed, because that's where
They're
you get-
really important. Okay, so let's see. Someone's asking, how did you come up with this method? Is it based on any other body work?
I trained with Bob Cooley. He wrote The Genius of Flexibility. And that's how we both actually learned this work. I spent 10 years with him.
Let's see. Sita and John, thank you. So many thanks for this wonderful eye opener. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Braxton, I have scoliosis. I lean to the left and have back pain on the left. What stretches do you recommend?
Well, the general muscle group that's associated with scoliosis is the IT band, the gallbladder on the outside. But you're going to have to do hamstrings to help change that. We've had people, where the curvature becomes less, but you want the symptoms to become less, and then that'll happen also.
Yeah, the health of the spine is really mimicked by the health of the hamstring. So changing the hamstring is going to help a lot. So to access our blog, you go to our main website, bendablebody.com. You'll see it right up there in the navigation bar, blog.
Yeah.
Alicia, I don't completely understand what you mean by resistance. Will you review this again at some point? So first of all, you still have access to the videos and the training. So you can go and watch video 1, video 2, and hopefully that'll make more sense. We also have a free class with you guys tomorrow, Saturday. So we're going to have a class, I think 3:30, in the afternoon. We're just going to stretch. We're really just going to stretch.
Ask what stretch?
Yeah, Alicia, is there a specific stretch that you don't understand?
Or is it general?
Is it general? If you can give us more information, we can try and help you now. Let's see, Carol, brilliant. Thank you. I love this. Gotta go. Joanna, must go. Thank you. Goodbye. Yeah, we've exceeded. We've gone over an hour. It's officially an hour and 25 minutes. But I do want to answer any questions. I didn't receive the videos. Where can I access them? Well, you would have gotten them in multiple emails that you got the link to this Zoom for. So if you got this email with this link, you definitely got the link with the videos. But here, I don't have it right here. If you can go back, if you send me an email, I'll send it to you. info@bendablebody.com. info@ bendablebody.com. You're welcome. You're welcome. We're getting some thank yous. Bill, can you do stretches next time that help to open the hips up? We did. All the hamstring
the
stretches are going to
hamstrings.
help open the hips up a lot. Let's see. So that's probably a perfect example. I bet you're asking that, Bill, because you're thinking my hips are going to open up if I stretch the front of my hips or the inside of my hips. They won't. They're going to open up if you stretch the back of the legs, because those muscles will shorten, allowing the legs to open up more. This is the change that has to be made in the understanding so that you can start to really get results. Let's see, Juliana, this was amazing. I already feel so much better. Wonderful. Michelle, thank you both very much for all the information and demos. You're most welcome. So grateful for this opportunity. Excellent work. You're so welcome. Our Robin, I'm in the midst of a series that ends on June 17th, but I'm hoping to join as a birthday present to myself. We would love to have you, Robin. Maricela, when is your next enrollment period? Probably the fall. Yeah, I'll be in the fall. Any other questions, you guys? Okay, well, I'm going to put the link in here one more time so that you have it. Should you decide to join us, we would love to have you and get those 2 bonuses tonight. Of course, you have till Sunday. Do we do your yearly program and also add exercises for our own special problems? No, you wouldn't have to. If you do the super year program, that's got you covered. It targets everything and also addresses the body as a whole. We set it up that way purposefully. Because see, the thing is, now having said that, like if you want to put a little bit of extra attention into something that's really bothering you, you could do that. But this is a constant thing that comes up. People inquire, well, I have this symptom. What do? I should only do the thing that's going to fix my symptom, right? Not true. You really want to address the body as a whole because of the way that the fascia is. It's a continuous tissue affecting areas far from where you think. Let's see. Thank you. You're welcome. Wonderful work. Very much needed going forward. Thank you. Sherry, thank you so much. Very informative. Membership is a definite consideration. Good. I'm glad. Check it out. I'm going to try the monthly. Yay. Wonderful. We can't wait to have you. Okay, you guys. 7:57. We've taken a lot of your time. I feel like it's
Enjoyed
time to
stretching
end.
with you.
We enjoyed all of you. We enjoyed stretching with you. Can you do the monthly and then switch to the yearly? You can. As soon as we open enrollment again, you absolutely can. When we open enrollment again. Because what we do is we try and stay out of all that stuff in the in-between periods and focus on members. Then we do all the enrolling process when we're enrolling. That's why we do it this way. Yeah, I think that's everything. Okay, so we're going to get this recording uploaded to the all access page. And if any questions come up, you can, of course, you can ask it on the all access page. You can send us an email. You can put it in Facebook. We'll respond to that. And yeah, have a really great evening, all of you. Thank you for being with us.
See you soon.
See you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.